On air, okay. Hello, can you hear me now? YouTube. Okay. There we go, we're back on. Right, sorry, I'll do my introduction again because I've messed that bit up. So, welcome to MRC Tier 4. We're live here coming at you from Canada. It's our very last race at Canada this season, so yeah, really looking forward to it. And tonight I am joined by one of our finest racers in the league. You give him a time and a day and a car, and he'll turn up and he'll perform in it. It's our very own Ryan. It's Red Car Rambo. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
Fantastic, lad. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. And I appreciate you having to listen to that intro for a second time and having to deal with my rubbish. Let's go round a lap. Let's pick a driver and see who we've got. Let me just get all the relevant data up. Who would you?
Is round first.
If you've got anybody who's just about to start, this is in the Alpine, is that? We've got Nikolai. Let's stay on board with Nikolai for a lap as I'll take you round the circuit very quickly. So down into turn 1 and into turn 2. Pit lane on the left hand side, you have to be very careful of that. Make sure you don't go into anybody. Now this is a horrible right-hander. You're down into its blind. You don't want to cut the corner, and then you don't want to hit the barrier on the right-hand side on the way out. He's kept that very clean inside you see here. Then into another tricky section. Again, you look for that brake board on the right-hand side. You cut as much curb as you want, and then you get on the power, but don't lose the back end, which Nikolai has done again. Now we're into this quick right-left, which is a nightmare for cutting the corner. So he's going to take it very gingerly through here, takes a nice line, and then it's onto the power, down into the hairpin. So I find this a very tricky corner. You really have to be careful when you get on the power and how soon. If you get there on too soon, you'll find yourself going off into the wall. Just as they're using all of the track, but you want to get on the power as quick as possible, because we're now onto the longest straight of the track. That DRS wide open behind you. You can see he's got Aston Martin behind him there. And then we get down to this chicane. It's where everybody breaks, invalidating their lap. Let's see if he gets it right again. He avoids the wall of champions. A little bit tentative, but he's going to get a time on the board. And it's put down to the ground. Let's see what time that puts him on the board. It's 12th place on the board. So maybe invalidation went round there, but I'm just taking you round a lap. As I was mentioning before, obviously you performed here on Monday night. You said you didn't have a good race. What do you find really tricky about this Canada circuit?
You've got the sector 1, the blind right-hander coming down the bank. It's very tricky. The hairpin will spin you if you take that wrong. That's another tricky section. You've got all the chicanes. They're all tricky. And to be honest, I don't think there's much grip on this track overall.
You're absolutely right there, and just to point out what's going on screen in front, I don't know if you've noticed, but there have been a few drops of rain on the cars that we've seen. It does look like maybe this qualifying is going to get only wetter as time goes on, so everybody be looking to get a lap down as quickly as possible. We've got Stoke out there. I wonder if people have fueled up. No, he's going in. I just wonder if we've got Brindley, he's already done 2 laps on these softs. It might be an idea just to sort of fuel up. Don't worry about the tyre grip, because you know it's only going to get worse from here on out once the rain starts really falling down.
Yep.
Let's see. Who have we got tonight in our track? I want to see who's racing. And Stoke, who's in first place. He had a very good race last time out. I think he is top of our MRC tracks, getting the first win and another pole position. I think he'll be another strong driver. Have you got any others in Tier 4 that you really enjoy looking at and seeing, or any ones that you think are going to be a bit of a surprise this season in Tier 4?
I think 38's a good racer. You've obviously got Gavin there. I always want Man to do well. She was my first teammate. I very rarely watch the rest of them, if I'm totally honest with you.
Well,
he is quite a few fast guys, isn't he?
Well, yeah, I think that's the whole point of Tier 4, isn't it? We've got lots of, that's where a lot of our newcomers come in, you know, particularly people who it's our one, you know, regular watchers will know this, but if it's your first time watching Tier 4, this is the only tier that uses the racing line, so they'll use it on corners only, and it's an assist that we try and persuade people to sort of like teach themselves out of it for a variety of reasons. Like I remember I used to be very quick without with the line when I was on controller, but not only is it very rewarding to learn tracks without the line, I think it helps improve your racecraft as well, because
absolutely.
You have to react to the track and other people around you rather than having your eyes zoomed in on that green red piece of assist that, yeah, if you're not careful, you can just bump into the back of other cars. So it's really nice to see other people learning their trade and getting better as we go along. And
yeah.
See what else we've got.
I've never actually raced with the line on.
Never ever. What? Not in this version of the game? Like, did you start F1 games and just say, I know these tracks instantly?
No. Cool. I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos, track guides.
Ah, excellent.
And things like that. I think that made me better, if I'm honest.
I think you're right, it does. If you can, because the line is very rigid, right, as well. Like, the line will tell you what is meant to be the perfect braking point on the track, but in truth that changes every lap, right? Like, it will change. You want to learn to adapt to the conditions. And the racing line isn't always the best racing line for you. You'll discover in the course of when you're testing, when you do those practice sessions, what works for you or the setup of the car. And if you're rigidly following the racing line, I feel sometimes it can be a little bit counterproductive. So yeah, no, good on you, mate, for setting that up. Let's see, I'm just having a look out on track now. I'm trying to keep, we've got Antstoke and Scottish Ninja still in the pits. We've got quite a few staying in the pits who may be those thinking that it's just not worth going out and ruining another pair of softs. But luckily we've got drivers like Brindle in the Haas, who's very fast. He's just pulled out of that lap, it looks, unfortunately. Let's try and find 38, who is one of our... He's a Tier 3 driver, one to look out for. Very strong. He'll be qualifying on the mediums tonight, and he's already put it into 4th place, which I think shows you again just how quick he is.
It's a good lap on the medium.
It's cracking, isn't it? And he'll be, although there's a place penalty for those who are racing in the tier above, I'll be really interested to see how he can perform tonight. There's been a lot of weather about in Canada as well. We've got a bit of rain in qualifying. How did you find the rain during the race on Monday night? It was something I admit I hadn't practiced for at all, and I really struggled with.
I didn't find it too bad. I'm not the biggest fan of racing in the wet anyway, but I knew the track, and I just broke that a little bit earlier. To be honest, I didn't have any wet setup on, so extremely careful and just have to go with it.
Yeah. I find on this game that you only really need the wet setup if it's tipping down with rain. If it's not full wet, if it's inters, you can survive on a dry setup pretty well. So yeah, I crashed 3 times on Monday. Once on the first lap, once when I came out of the pits on a pair of mediums and instantly lost my front wing, and then after I came out of the pits and had my 3rd wing of the night, I lost the rear end again and just speared into a wall. So
well, I got the crossover completely wrong.
Oh, that's a shame. Did you stay on the inters or during that safety car, or did you?
I pitted to the medium because I was told there was going to be no more rain. I expected it to dry up a lot quicker than it did.
Yeah.
And just no grip at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, that's what I was going to do, but I crashed under safety car conditions, so I didn't get to experience what it was like afterwards. But it sounds like I almost did the right thing by crashing, because I put myself out of my misery. I would have been a liability on track. But I'll tell you who's not a liability on track. Chelsea, who I said we were worried about maybe the times not improving at all. He's gone quickest there with an 11.5. That's a seriously quick lap with the drizzle coming down.
It doesn't seem to be raining very hard.
No, it's
on just a few drops now and then.
Yeah.
If it does, ramp up and there's people on the track, then they're going to have to be very, very careful.
Exactly, and we said Chelsea went into first place. There was a reply instantly from Ant Stoke going into pole position with a 1:11.3. So yeah, he's not content with just settling for second place, and I think it's a noise for everybody who stayed in the pits. Get out there. You can go faster. Don't be worried about the rain.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we've got in our lap that I can focus on. Let's focus on Winky. Winky's been with us for quite some time now, and I think he's always willing to give it a go. I think I raced with him back in sort of season 3. Have you been teammates with him before or raced with him in the past? I know you've.
We used to do a lot of practice with Winky.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got a wheel, didn't he?
Yes. I think that
not too long ago.
Yeah. And that's another good thing that Tier 4's really good for, and this league in general. I joined because I was moving from a controller to a wheel, and I wanted to get better. And there's nothing that quite forces you to get better than a little bit of friendly competition, and it certainly just improves the game. I think we've all had our gripes about the game this year, but it certainly improved by having a competitive league like this to fight and race with other people. So.
Yeah, well, I can remember when I first joined, and it was you and Mark Hodgson in the Reynolds.
Yep.
Lapped me twice in China. I felt like leaving.
Well, I think it's a sign, isn't it, of how far you can come. You were, like you said, you weren't. No, I remember smashing into the back of you under a safety car in Brazil, because that was my only race I won ages and ages ago.
Yeah.
And then to see you sort of make the move up, you've taken more and more assists away. Your first non-assist win, I think, was in France. Was it a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, and that was in Tier 2, and then to see you go all the way up to Tier 1 and still keep it competitive up there. I know you've come back to Tier 2 now, but yeah, it's just really nice to see people surpass you. Like, I know I'm not the greatest, I'm not the fastest, but seeing other people get better, and you're always one who puts the time and effort in, and I think it's a real testament to the league to show that just how much you can improve if you're willing to put that effort in to get better.
All I did was practice every day, non-stop. There was no other game, just falling on every day.
Did you religiously practice one circuit at a time, or were you trying to mix it up a bit? Because I always struggled.
I used to start straight after the races to the next track, do that track until the Monday or the Wednesday when I was racing. So yeah, I had like a good few days trying to work stuff out.
Yeah, well, that certainly is commitment, and I think we're all very grateful that you did it. I mean, you're certainly grateful that you did it, and fingers crossed you can get a well-deserved go at a championship one of these years. I'm just going to stay on board with one of our fast guys. We've got our last laps coming through now. We've got Brindle on a fast lap, and we've got just ahead of him Chelsea. Chelsea's been validated, so I'll stick on board with Brindle. There's quite a queue of traffic forming ahead of him. Fingers crossed they don't get in the way. He's up on his lap time by about 1.5. You always want the best to get the Red Bull getting out of the way there. He's invalidated. That's a shame. See who else is on a lap then. Johnny Smooth we're going to go to in the Alpine. See, I think I've got...
Oh, Biff's spun round.
Oh no, where's that to? Is that...
Just before the hairpin.
Yes, he has. He's back on track now. I think he's okay. It seems to be... The rain is still coming down there. I don't know if it's still quite tricky or slippery, or if just the drivers are pushing a little bit more as we get towards the end of the session. But he's also on a very old pair of tyres, 4 laps. They can't be very friendly now.
Looks like there's a little bit of grease on the track there now.
Yeah, it is just... I don't know if we're going to see the times again. I was worried that we weren't. See if Johnny Smooth can improve. He did a 1:13. Coming to the line now, and he's across. And that's a big improvement from Johnny Smooth up into 8th place. Excellent lap for him. I think I feel happy with that. Go to another person on track. I'm going to Zondas now in the Alfa Romeo. Zondas had a really good start to the season actually. He came in 4th place. Fingers crossed he can go 1 better or even 3 better and try and take a podium position tonight. Been with us a long time, Zondas, as well. So another driver I'm really keen to see how he does. It's about even Stevens on his quali lap, so we'll have to make up a little bit of time in sections 2 and 3 if he's going to improve. I find Canada's one of the toughest qualifying laps of the year, in my opinion, just because there's so many places you can invalidate, and it's real all or nothing stuff, isn't it? You've got to put your whole...
Yeah, you've got to really commit. Like, the Waller Champion chicane, that's a joke if you get that wrong.
It is, and it seems so unfair. Every time, I swear, the track limits change, and finding consistency through there is, well, it's important in quali, and it's going to be really important in the race. This is another one where we see a lot of penalties happening. Fingers crossed that we'll keep it to tonight. Zondas going across the line now, he's 11th. Oh, doesn't quite improve, it's nearly identical. 9,000th is a second down on his last lap, so he will keep 11th place. Who else is on a fast lap at the moment?
I think 38 is starting one.
There's a little bit of racing there almost between him and the Williams of them. Williams has gone round, was that? It wasn't Keke Matthew, I can't think who it is, but stay on board with 38. He's on the mediums still, and I don't think he's changed tyres, so I don't know if we'll be going any quicker. It's worth staying out there. Pop along to Scottish Ninjas hopping in the pits there. We've got Smith, who's also popping in the pits. Yeah, there's a lot of drivers now calling it a day. Those times just don't seem to be getting any quicker. Still got Winky out, but he's gone out. Markham's just gone across the line. Half a second quicker, but I think again that was an invalid lap. So, yeah, quali is coming to an end.
I think 38, his give up was invalidated.
Yeah. So, yeah, after that session, who have you got your eyes on for the race, Ryan?
Well, I'm Stoke looks very good. Chelsea, Dirty Harry, Scottish Ninja. Any of them top 7, I think, will take the win, in my opinion.
I agree. I was just having a look at those. So Stoke won last time out. Chelsea DNF, Dirty Harry also DNF, Scottish Ninja another DNF. So we've got some people here who are very quick over one lap, but clearly last time in Spain, for whatever reason, couldn't keep it together for all 35.
I'm pretty sure Ant Stokes just got P2 in Tier 3.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah, you're right. So he's very familiar with this circuit as well.
Yeah,
so
plenty of practice.
Yeah, if you're a betting man, put your money on that. But that looks like it's quali all wrapped up. Let's take you through the grid here. So in first place, we've got Ant Stoke, followed by Chelsea in second, Dirty Harry in third, Scottish Ninja in fourth, Brindle in fifth, 38, one of the drivers in a tier above. On the mediums in sixth place, RFC Danny, another medium runner, in seventh, Johnny Smooth in eighth, Night Shadow in the Aston Martin in ninth, Biff in 10th, Zondas in 11th, Keke Matthew in 12th, Smith in 13th, Ghost Rider 14th. Then we've got Man in 15th, Winky 16th, CBG Sambal in 17th, Smoggy Ghost in the Mercedes in 18th, Markham in the Red Bull in 19th, and unfortunately Nikai Lama in 20th, who did not set a time. Right, don't know what the weather's like for the race.
Just stop you there, lad. There's something in the Discord saying we have a settings issue.
Oh, okay.
Please leave the lobby.
I'm seeing a red flag in the lobby, so yeah, no, thanks for that information. Anybody, if you're listening to this on comms, you're in the race, please leave the lobby as soon as possible. We will get you invited back in, and fingers crossed we will get racing here very soon in Canada.